And now for something completely different. We've just been talking about Defense Grid 2 with Jeff, and now we're talking about Windborne. Something, well, how did this come about, this project?
One of the things that's really excited about working with the talented team at Hidden Path is that we can work on completely different games. We have really great game designers, and we have experience working on shooters, on strategy games, on music games, on all sorts of different entertainment. And we love games. We're game players, and we play a lot of games. We were playing tower defense games, and we go, wow, these are really good, but if we could just do this and that, we could make an even better one. And that led to Defense Grid. And the same thing is happening in this world of kind of social open world building and construction. We played Minecraft, we love it. We played the early Zelda games. We played Dwarf Fortress. We've also been playing, Animal Crossing, and seen all these kinds of worlds that are fun to interact with. And we wanted to make a game where you could build anything, but it could be a little smoother, it could look a little nicer, and it could be more of a fantasy world, and it could be populated, it could be alive. It could have creatures that you interact with and that you help and that you grow kind of a community and be able to, really experience that feeling of an alive world, but that world that you can completely change both physically and with the characters. And that's what led to Windborne.
Sounds like Is it a game or more of an experience? What are you trying to make it a game, or is that just sort of?
Well, I think inherently anything that gives you a sandbox capability can be a toy just by itself. But it also, we really do want it to be a game. So we've got adventure qualities, quests, we've got characters, we've got very advanced AI that can handle pathfinding around a completely changeable world, and they have objectives and understanding of what they're trying to do, and if you're able to help them, then they're able to do it. And if they can't do it, they'll keep trying, but they want to. And so you're able to come into this world and make a difference to the characters, the fauna, and you have your own floating island that you start with as a player. And all these things to explore and discover and find and learn to craft and build and create the way you want to, and then also help the characters, or not, as you want to see fit, on this island. Other islands will come floating by, bringing new adventures, new creatures. Your friends' islands may come floating by, and you'll be able to visit your friends' things that they've built. Or your friends get together with you on your island, on their islands, or on other islands. So there's a multiplayer component, there's a group component, there's also a single-player adventure component with lots to discover.
So I would imagine that developing a game like this is the process. It's a little bit different than making something like Defense Grid 2, where you perhaps can keep it in the team. This kind of game, you really have to sort of get out there, have someone interact with it, see where you want to take it.
Yes, absolutely. And so what we're doing with this is we're going to do a preview. First, we're showing the game, announcing its existence, making sure people, hopefully making sure that there's an audience. Like we want to be the audience for the game as well. And then we want to share it with fans. We're going to do a preview build, and then we think Steam Early Access is a really good place for this, where we can release it a little early, get fans to come in. We have all of this list of features we want to do, but through interacting with the fans and the people who purchase an early access, we can decide which features to do in what order. There will be combat in this game. There will be things that you want to protect your creatures from other creatures. But do we do that early, or do we do that later? At the moment, we're thinking that will be a little later, while we'll focus on some of the quests and the building and the adventure first. But maybe the fans will really want the combat early, so we'll move that forward. And that's one of the nice things in early access and this kind of beta process, to be able to interact with folks who have a vested interest in the game.
Yeah, and just looking at it and listening to what you're saying about it, it's like this could appeal to a very wide group of people, a very diverse group of people, so maybe they want completely different things out of the game, and that's something that you have to think about as well. So allowing people to have combat early on or not.
Without question. I think one of the things we wanted to do is make a game that has a lot of appeal. Of course, you'd like to make something that's fun entertainment for everyone, but also there's going to be different people who want different things from it. Just like we found as Defense Grid 2 got, as Defense Grid 1 got larger, Defense Grid 2, it became very clear that we needed to serve different audiences, and we completely expect that with Windborne as well. There'll be some people who just want to take care of the djinn. There'll be other people who wanting to find every secret in every dungeon or every passageway. There'll be other people who just want to have combat with other creatures. And if we can make them all happy, then we're doing good as entertainers.
So you mentioned with the Defense Grid 2 that you will allow players to sell their user-created content. Is that sort of an idea that you're also playing with in Windborne?
I think we're very open to it with Windborne, but we're so early in understanding it, we don't want to jump on that too fast. With Defense Grid and Defense Grid 2, we kind of understand what's going on, so we're able to make some of those longer-range plans come in a little sooner. With Windborne, we think, yes, players are going to craft things, they're going to create things. We're going to share those things. Can it be something that players monetize to other players? Maybe, but we kind of need to see how it all fits in first. So I think we're thinking along those lines, but we want to be careful not to get ahead of ourselves.
Right. So how do you picture the road ahead with Windborne? You said it's early on, but how do you see it sort of? The next 12 months, let's say, let's keep it to that.
Yeah, I don't know for sure, because I think we're going to find out as we start having this conversation with players. What we've thought through so far is that here we are at Gamescom. We're showing folks the game for the first time. We're going to be showing the public at PAX in a very short time. The team's going to focus on the feedback that we get, and we've already been working very hard on the game and preparing for the preview. And the preview is when we're going to start letting people in. We have codes give out. We have partners who are going to give out codes, and we're going to start getting some feedback from players who are actually playing the experiences, going on the quests, helping the djinn, building things, and we'll kind of start seeing what's happening with the player base. After we've got some ideas and we kind of solidify some feature set and we're able to say, okay, if you were to spend money, here's what you're going to get, we'll move over to Steam Early Access. And then we'll be dealing with paid customers who have invested in this game, and we need to deliver for them. And so we're going to be really taking up on a regular update basis to make sure that the game is improving, new features are coming along, or we're refining the features that are most important to folks. Once it kind of solidifies where everyone goes, yeah, this is the game, I understand this game, the promise is very clear, I know what I'm getting, we'll move over to start selling the game at a retail type experience. I mean, probably still on Steam, but it'll be more in the regular store. And with that, then we'll be able to say very clearly, if you spend your money, this is what you get, and we'll continue to do updates, but it'll be a lot more solid product.
Right. So exciting times ahead, certainly for Hidden Path Entertainment. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.